When do we stop being surprised that the Bruins keep winning games? Is this just who they are? Are they a pretty good hockey team, better than we expected?
They're better than we expected, yes. Or and I think that was pretty easy though. A lot of people expected them to be dead last in the league, and that just wasn't going to happen with the David Pastrnaks of the world. I think this, where they're at right now with their 11-7 record. I thought they would be a team that got over NHL 500, a team that was competing for a wild card spot all the way to the end, and that's kind of where they're at right now. I don't think we're going to see the 7 in a row wins, 6 in a row losses. I expect this to even out at some point where a couple wins here, a loss here, a couple wins here, and get back to kind of that cadence. But again, when you're in the NHL and you've won 7 in a row, you want to win 8 in a row. You don't want to get off the tracks because it can go quickly the other way, as we've seen already just this season.
Razor, wanted to get your perspective on Morgan Geeky's development and just what a great start to the season. He's had 16 points total in 18 games. He's got 11 goals. He's been, I guess, nothing really short of dynamite thus far. Did you see this kind of season from him, and what do you think has been key to it?
Yeah, well, he showed us last season, and I'm super happy for him that he was able to get off to a pretty good start and not have to deal with the question marks of, are you this real player? You signed a big contract, et cetera, et cetera. So huge for him to get off to a good start this season. And he's one of the few guys. There's not many guys that can beat goalies, National League goalies, with their shot. And he's got one of those shots. And just what the confidence that he's built in the 12-month period to the chemistry that he's built with David Pastrnak. The two of them read off each other so well. And when he's open, he can score and he can shoot the puck. So that's what we're seeing. And there's nothing that he's doing now that isn't repeatable for the next 55, 60 games.
So, Razor, you mentioned Geeky and Pasta getting together and the chemistry there. How about on the D pairing with Zadorov pairing up with McAvoy? How important has that been to this team settling in, helping the goaltending, everything that's gone into this successful streak?
Yeah, it's huge. And that also coincides with Hampus Lindholm being in the lineup. If he's not in the lineup, you really can't put those two together. You have to build a little bit of depth in your back end. But with Lindholm in, you can put those two guys together. Nikita Zadorov's had a fantastic season. He really brought what he was playing like at the end of last season into this season. And then when he's with Charlie, it just makes them both more comfortable and gives them both opportunities to make more plays and shut down the top offensive lines in the league.
Your perspective on Lohrei, do you think he looks any different since Sturm kind of managed the situation and shook things up? And do you think he's actually improving? Because it seems like thus far, like when Marco has, put in Korpisalo over Swayman, like he's had the magic touch thus far. Do you think that's going to apply to Lohrei?
It's for 2 games. For Mason, this is more of a long-term thing, right? This wasn't like a Casey Middlestat where you're sitting a veteran just to, open his eyes a little bit, need a little bit more from you. This is more of a development issue from Mason Lohrei's perspective and what you need to do on a nightly basis to be consistent. So through 2 games, no question. Tonight's another night for him. Tonight's another night. This is the place where he ended up starting to sit out. So if you're a player, you have some pride. You want to get back at these guys for that as well. So it's been a really nice 2 games for Mason, and just keep developing and keep building your game is the message for him.
NESN analyst Andrew Raycroft here on WEEI Afternoons. You mentioned Pasta, and he got the 401st goal the other night. Can you put into perspective for us, if we're not exactly hockey historians or whatever you want to call it, just how good is Pasta?
Yeah, he's great. He's a superstar. He is flat out superstar. He is right there with all the greats that have ever played here in Boston. And, you never want to predict the future in pro sports, but I mean, it's pretty easy to say and look at the track record and say he could be the all-time winning or all-time goal scorer in the Boston Bruins history. That's heady stuff for this franchise and 100+ years of the team being around. So I think what just what's so impressive, I think everyone has a lot of respect for David, is how he's developed his game, not just being that shooter. He's becoming an Ovechkin, where he does a lot of different things and can play physical and goes out and play makes and just does a 200-foot job on top of scoring goals. So he's a superstar and is going to be an all-time Bruin. That's where we're at already, and he's not even 30 years old yet.
Boy, that is music to Bruins fans' ears, calling him an Ovechkin. But that's, I mean, it's really, really hard to disagree with. So for a team right now, 18 games in, 11-7, ahead of expectation for sure. It feels like this stretch, they have a really tough next 4 games. Tonight against the Senators, then you're in Montreal, a Saturday night, 7 o'clock. Doesn't get much better than that. Then you host the Hurricanes on Monday, and then Wednesday across the country against the Ducks. What would you like to see out of those next 4 games to sort of prove to yourself, any Bruins fan, like, okay, this 11-7 start was no fluke? Like, a couple of points, win at least 2 of those. How do you want to see them come out of this little gauntlet of 4?
Yeah, it's tough. It feels like you're doing that every 2 weeks. You're looking ahead and saying, "Wow, that's a tough schedule for all teams across the National League." And I mean, how cool is this going to be on Saturday night? Bruins, Montreal, the 2 top teams in the division. Hockey night can't. We're going. It's been a long time since both of these teams have been at the top of the division playing each other on a Saturday night. So I'm pumped to be in the building in Montreal Saturday. But I think you get through these 3 games, these Eastern Conference teams, where they're real 4-point games. Like, you're playing playoff type games already this year. Already everybody is through the league because of the way the schedule's set up. And then you get to go out west, and the out west, San Jose is no slouch. Anaheim's one of the best teams in the league. LA is always tough. So those are the West Coast trips are real difficult this season. We saw that when they went to LA and Colorado and Utah, and then they got a bump back in Utah with the Islanders on the way out. So I guess 500 is probably a good number, I would say. At the end of the day, because it is tough, but the way these guys have been knocking points off, I'm sure their expectations much higher than that if you broke it down with them.
Razor, I read a pretty detailed feature the other day in The Athletic about Morgan Geeky and his sticks and his tape job and color of the stick, and they don't make that color anymore, and guys freak out. Is that normal in hockey? Are guys that particular about their blades and their sticks and everything that goes in? Were you that way? Are goalies that way? Is it different for scorers? Can you give me a little more insight into that?
Yeah, of course. Guys are, yes. I wouldn't say, definitely not everybody. Everybody's not particular. There's some guys just take my stick and give it to me and I'll score with it. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of other guys, though, especially the big thing nowadays, right? And as you get older, is the models and the new technology and things changing. And a lot of guys don't want to change what's worked for them already. And that's where you get Nikita Kucherov uses a stick that they've got to go find, and he goes through a bunch of them. And I know that was in that article as well, where you're looking for sticks, you're searching. Linus was searching for skate blades a couple of years ago. There was only a few that he could find, and he ordered all of them. So there's guys that like what they have, and technology moves along, but they don't really want to follow that technology. Myself, I was pretty open to changing things to a point. But no, definitely not changing companies mid-season or changing companies if I had a good year or going that way. I had the same stuff basically my whole career.
Last question. I wanted to get your thoughts and feelings on alternate jerseys or alternate sweaters. I saw the Bruins all rocking the Patriots' new rivalry jersey, the Nor'easter, looking pretty sharp on McAvoy. Do you like the alternate jersey phenom? And also, did you ever have like a favorite Bruins sweater?
Well, I love the Pooh Bear, the old school Pooh Bear, the yellow one. I thought the white one was pretty sharp too. I know there's you either like that or you absolutely hate it. That's pretty binary, the Pooh Bear, but that was kind of my era, and playing the afternoon games wearing the Pooh Bear in my first couple of years in the league was awesome. I think I love the original 6, so I'm partial to them messing around too much, but completely understand the business of selling jerseys and taking interest and getting social media clicks, etc. So I get it, but at the end of the day, I'm taking the original 6 original jerseys and running with those.
All right, Razor, I'm not even going to ask for a prediction. We know the Bruins don't lose, so what's the point? You're just going to tell me they're going to win because that's all they do. All right, man, enjoy the game tonight. We'll talk to you next week.